Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so that every time I drop a video, you will be notified. Today, I want to bring a story out of the NOLA.com website in this regard to a young sister who won the Scripp spelling bee this past Thursday. And she was the first African American to ever win this competition. But I'm going to read a few of the notes, and then we're going to go a little deeper into this story. So, it states here in the website that Zaila knew she would be the first African American winner of the spelling bee. And she knew that black kids from around the country would be watching, and she wanted to be an inspiration to them to be able to take a note that they can, achieve their goals no matter what the circumstances are. She even say while she was doing this, she even thought of Magnolia Cox, who in 1936 became the first black finalist at the bee and wasn't allowed to stay in the same hotel as the rest of the spellers. And say when she was declared champion, she jumped and twirled with joy, only flinching in surprise when confetti was shot onto the stage. Now, she won the spelling bee by spelling the word, I believe it's pronounced Mariah, which is a genus tropical Asiatic and Australian tree. They said the only previous black champion was also the only international winner, Jody Ann Maxwell of Jamaica in 1998. He said the bee, however, still showcases a lot of kids of color, predominantly kids of color in the past 2 decades. The kids of South Asia descent dominating the competition. But Sister Zaila's win breaks the streak of at least one Indian American champion every year since 2008. Now, what's surprising to me, because I saw the highlights and the news stories of the young sister winning the spelling bee competition, but as I went on the internet and tried to look up the sister and read more about it, I found out, and it was in this article too, which made me pull this up, was Sister Zaila had other priorities, which perhaps explains how she came to dominate this year's spelling bee. The 14-year-old from Harvey, Louisiana, is a basketball prodigy who owns 3 Guinness Book of World Records for dribbling multiple basketballs simultaneously. Amazing. 3 Guinness Book of World Records. I mean, I don't even know any kids who even know what the Guinness Book of World Records still is. I remember it growing up. I remember they even had a TV show where they highlighted and showcased people who, broke records. I remember my mom having, Guinness Book of World Records books at home, and you would read through them and see who holds what records. And shoot, a lot of times people would look for records to see if we could break them ourselves. So it's very interesting that someone that in 2000, this is not even 2020, this is like in the 2000s period, that kids are still being taught and, know about the Guinness Book of World Records. She says she one day hopes to play in the WNBA and coach in the NBA. And she describes spelling as a side hobby, even though she routinely practices for 7 hours a day. Now that, again, is impressive. I would use that word, impressive. To hear that a child saying, in this day and age with all the, social media, you're gonna always say TikTok, Instagram, what have you, that got a kid who said a side hobby is spelling. Now, my side hobby is reading, researching, this, that, and the third, trying to, start a business, create multiple streams of income, but I'm a grown man. This is a child who said her side hobby is spelling, and I think it's very inspirational. Very inspirational. Should be inspiration to all kids and adults. To someone that a person's side hobby is educational. Period. And she also said, I kind of thought I would never be into spelling again, but I'm also happy that I'm going to make a clean break from it. I can go out like my Guinness World Records, just leave it right there and walk off. Now, the thing about the Scripp spelling bee, I think there are some criteria that you have to follow, and I believe that, you know, there's an age. There's also an age limit. Of course, you can't like taking different, you know, grades over or repeat grades just for the sake of, you know, trying to get into the spelling bee. Things of that nature. Your school you go to has to be like associated with the spelling bee council, which is amazing, because, you know, which is funny because, you know, she's homeschooled. You know, if you didn't know that, she's homeschooled. So, but let me get on. It says many of top Scripp spellers start competing as young as kindergarten, but Zaila only started a few years ago after her father, Gerard Spacetime, yes, that is the man's last name. I believe he probably gave himself that name, but let me continue. Come back to that later. So watched the bee on TV and realized his daughter's affinity for doing complicated math in her head could translate well into spelling. But let me go back to her dad right quick. Shout out to her dad. You know, praise to her dad for seeing the potential in his child and built on that potential to create an international spelling champion. And I believe that a lot of fathers, Aboriginal fathers, do not get enough credit for the role that they play. Now, you always see it. I'm not saying anything disparaging or knocking anyone's, you know, anybody's parenting skills. But when you see these boys that play football or basketball, you know, they go on draft day, go to the pros, get, you know, sign to go to college or what have you. The majority of the time, it's the single black mother or with the grandmother, which is great. It shows you that they were there in their life, that they actually, you know, they actually knew what route to take. Whether they knew it or learned it from somebody or somebody showed them, and they actually, I mean, people can show you anything. What's the old saying? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I mean, anyone can show you how to do something, but it's up to you to actually utilize the information that you've been given. So, like I said, but the majority of the time, you know, the guys, you know, they're there with the matriarchal figure in the family, and you don't see the father being talked about a lot. But when you see things like this, I think that someone needs to interview this man just to see what his mindset is, because you got to think about it. Like I say, when young men play football or basketball, go to the pros, go to college, that's something that they strive to do, right? Because that's just what we all think that our young boys should do. They got athletic ability. They should be playing sports, go make that NFL money, go make the NBA money, get your mama and your grandma out of the house, get them out the hood or what have you. But we have to start expanding our horizons. We got to expand our little circle that we're so used to. And when you have dads like, what's his name, Richard Williams, Serena and Venus' dad. When you have like Earl Woods, Tiger Woods' dad. When you have a man like this here, they see outside of the box. They're looking outside the box and they say, hey, there's money out there. You know what I'm saying? People used to making money this way, but what our people don't realize is, boy, if you go and play golf, I'm gonna train you to be a great golfer, to be the best. I'm gonna mentally condition you to be the best golfer. I'm gonna mentally condition you to be the best tennis player or the best speller. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna dominate because they're not looking for you, they're not ready for you. Everybody else follows the status quo. We're gonna do things a little different. I'm gonna go out there and train you as much as possible. But then when I can't train you anymore, I'm gonna get someone else to do it. Because they're gonna see your potential and they're gonna see your ability, and I'm gonna get them to take you on further. But I'm gonna lay the foundation because, like I said, a lot of us don't realize that in golf. We just look on TV, see golf or see tennis, and we're like, that's a boring sport. They're running, or got to be real quiet walking up the grass. What's the benefit of that? They're not dunking or running 100 miles an hour, 100 yards, breaking tackles, stuff like that. That's not exciting. But it ain't about the excitement. Because I'll tell you what I realized when I had my children playing like sports at a young age, and I got my girls into softball. And what I realized is, man, it's a whole nother world out there. You can make money, you can make connections, you can get into school. There are scholarships for sports that we normally don't play, for activities that we normally don't participate in. And the spelling bee thing is one of them. I remember I think I was in the 6th grade participating in the spelling bee in my school. I won the school competition, then went to the next level. Got put out, or lost or what have you. But all I remember is they gave me a book, said, here, study these words and get ready. So I studied some words for a little while, went in there, did what I could. Like I said, once I got out the school competition, like I said, I didn't make it no further, but that's all. I didn't think nothing of it. It's like, man, there's nothing here. This is not fun. I don't want to do this. What's the purpose? No one tells you the information, the inside information. Just like baseball. When I was in high school, I tried out for the baseball team, but I didn't go back out that last day because I didn't like baseball. A friend of mine told me, man, if you would have stayed, you would have made the team, because you're going to make the team. I'm like, I don't like baseball. As years went on, I realized that in baseball, you can make $1 million sitting on the bench. I'm like, dang. Man, I should have stuck with it, but all I want to do is play basketball and be a rapper. And neither one of those panned out. So, hey, like I said, it's just the information that's out there. You got to motivate people and give them a reason to actually want to invest time and effort in these things, and especially with kids, because all we want to do is have the fun. But let me get back to the story, and I'll come back and give you like my I'm gonna finish my summary out. But like I said, dads, we got to give more props to dads, because these dads here found, like I say, other ways for the children to excel outside of the normal, sports and activities that we're used to. Tiger Woods, one of the richest, golfers in the world in the history. Venus and Serena Williams, rich, successful through tennis. And this here, like I said, just another example of a father taking their kids, like I said, beyond the common things that we normally do. Okay, but back to the story. It said that Sister Zaila quickly progressed enough to make it to the Nationals, but bowed out in preliminary. In 2019, but bowed out in preliminary rounds. Again, she had just started, so she was kind of behind everybody else, but quickly advanced and got better. That's when she started to take it more serious and began to work with a private coach, Cole Schaefer-Ray, a 20-year-old Yale student and the 2015 Scripp runner-up. Now, let me say something about this brother Cole here. Brother Cole gave lessons, spelling bee lessons. This dude was charging $130 an hour to tutor kids and to teach them, to get them ready for the spelling bee. Again, another way to make income that we don't think of. You got kids that play sports, let's say, and they excel in the sports. Let's say softball, let's say volleyball. And they come to an age, in their teens, and they got other kids coming up at a younger than them. You know that you can actually hold court and have camps and give lessons. You can charge these kids, let's say volleyball. Let's say you got a kid in high school, she plays volleyball and she's a great volleyball player. Okay, you got kids that's coming up young, YMCA or these little travel leagues, and they need lessons. This person in high school, this kid in high school can give lessons, charge like $25. As a matter of fact, why don't you have a camp of like 10 kids, $100. You teach them all something in an hour, teach them a skill. They all get excited. And then you go to the parents and say, hey, if you want me to give your kids private lessons, $25 an hour, we can do it. However many times a week you want for an hour session every time. Boom. That's how, you get kid got cash money, passive income, make money when they want to, entrepreneur skills. I mean, what? You can't beat that. It's better than going and working somewhere, fast food, grocery store, making $10, $12 an hour or what have you, working on days that you don't want to work on. Because if you're young, they're going to have you mainly trying to work on during the busy times, Fridays and Saturdays, when you want to go out and kick it with your friends, and do your own stuff, have fun. This way, you can make money. So, she, like I say, hired a tutor. Her family got her a tutor, but I guess what another little back piece of information is that Sister Zaila won last year's Kaplan Hexa Online Spelling Bee, which is one of the many spelling bees created because of the COVID virus shut down the Scripp spelling bee. So a lot of them made like online spelling bees. And she won the $10,000 first prize. What did she do with that $10,000 first prize money? She bought study materials and hired a spelling bee coach. That's how you invest in your future. That's what investment is all about. You make money, you put money back into your business, investment, so that you can grow your money. So she took $10,000, did all this investment, came back and won $50,000. And also, back to the tutor. Hold on, let me finish this up. It said that the tutor quickly realized his pupil had extraordinary gifts. It said she had a much different approach than any speller I've ever seen, said the tutor. So basically knew the definitions of every word that we did, like pretty much verbatim. He also said she knew not the word, but just the story behind the word, why every letter had to be the letter, and it couldn't be anything else. That's what you call, critical thinking. Always ask why. One of my instructors in my school I went to told me to get to critical thinking, you always ask why till you can't ask why no more. This child has that concept down at a very, very young age. Said sometimes she knew more than she let on. Part of her strategy, she said, was to ask about roots that weren't part of the word she was given, just to eliminate them from consideration. You see, now, Zaila, her dad gave her the last name Avant-garde to tribute to jazz musician John Coltrane. Avant-garde was a album that John Coltrane put out in 1966, I believe, along with John Cherry, I believe. After reading the story, I went and listened to the album. I think it's great. I'm not really much of a jazz fan on all jazz. I listen to some of it, but hey, I got a book called How to Listen to Jazz. Haven't got around to reading it yet, but stuff like this, gets my mind going to the point that I'm going to read that book soon. It's but like I said, this story is that's all I'm gonna read from those notes. Like I said, this is a great story. I pretty much just wanted to point out the father's roles in stories like this, because like I said, you get your child needs and motivation. A lot of these dads, like I say, do not get the credit they deserve. And also that we have to understand that there are more activities outside of basketball and football to where our kids can actually go to school, go to college. And if you want to take the route of your children going to college, school is expensive, and the prices of education is only going up as we speak. I know Joe Biden and canceled some of these student loans, but not from PWIs. It's mainly for stuff like barber school, or court reporting school, stuff like that. Where these cats, they were charging like hundreds of thousands of dollars to each kid to learn how to court report. You ain't making that kind of money, so he canceled a lot of them student loans. But as for like PWIs or whatever you want to call it, nah, I haven't seen him cancel too much of those. But anyway, like I was saying, if you're trying to get your kid to school, you got to find every avenue possible to get scholarships and grants and try to stay away from loans as much as possible. So you go on the website, do your research, you know what I'm saying, practice your essays or what have you. But again, like you can do, like I say, just a little spelling bee. You make, like I say, $50,000 in cash. Shoot, that can go towards your education. Like I said, you can play sport. I know people, you know, got volleyball scholarships. Heard of a guy got a fishing scholarship. You know, heard of a guy got a scholarship for being over 6 foot and black. I mean, the money's out there. You just got to know how to get it and where to find it. And you got to do the research. And you have to invest in yourself. Bottom line, invest in yourself. Whatever you put your time in, that's what you're going to get out of life. If this sister here put in 7 hours a day spelling, man, she came out a winner. And oh, look, I was about to say, the guy that tutored her, he also tutored the second place, the runner up, Chaitra Dumala. Was a 12-year-old out of Frisco, and she's out, and it says in another student, a Schaefer Ray. So this guy's charging $130 an hour to tutor these kids, and he got at least 2 pupils that we know of. And now, since both of them are first and second place in the most recent spelling bee, what do you think is going to happen to this guy's phone? It's going to start blowing up. And there's going to be more people that's going to want to hire this young man to tutor their kids to become spelling bee champions. Now, will all of them become spelling bee champions? No, that's not his concern. His concern is to bring a product, to teach these kids the stuff they need to know. Now, it's up to them if they win or lose. And that's the message in that story. But again, it's about, say, sacrifice and investment. You sacrifice, like I was saying, you invest in yourself, make the necessary sacrifices to become prosperous, to get to the end goal. You want to start a business, you got to figure out what do you need to sacrifice to maintain, or to get to the point to where your business is prosperous. You can quit your job and you can become successful. If you want to make great grades in school, you have to sacrifice time. You have to put down the cell phones and entertainment for some hours per day sometimes, so you can get the grades you need so you can move on to the next level. There's nothing really hard about life. Everything, when you see anybody successful, you'll see behind them that there was an investment and a sacrifice. Pick anybody. Pick anyone and they'll tell you what they had to give up to get to where they're at. And you ask them, if they do it again, everyone will say yes, because it made them to the person that they are. Well, anywho, that's enough of that story. Tell me what you think. Like I say, I want to congratulate Sister Zaila and her father and mother too, because she was just, you know, saying, in the household, dual parents. She's homeschooled, so they have a mission, they have a plan with the child, and they're implementing that plan, and it's panning out. And who knows, maybe one day she will be in the WNBA, and one day she will, you know, coach in the NBA. Anything is possible. You put your mind to it, you put the effort into it. But like I say, tell me what you think about the story. If you got any suggestions, questions, comments, concerns, put them in the email that's in the description box. If you want to support the channel, in the description box, hit the website, buy some merchandise. And also, if you're trying to start a YouTube channel, or you already started a YouTube channel and you want it to grow, and you want to make the process easier to try to, you know, get more followers, get more views, go to the description box, hit that tube button link. I'm telling you, it's a much needed tool, much needed link. It helps me out. I promise you'll get the same benefit, if not more. But until next time, family, thank y'all for joining again. Peace.